So we could vouch for that particular school. It wasn't just any cherry picking of a school. So we identified the schools, we linked them up. And to this date, I think it may have been about 2.5 years ago, the project is still continuing. There is a twinning of a school in New York with a South African school, also in Wheelers Farm, of all places. All of us know Wheelers Farm. And every now and then, that students and the school goes over to New York, and those New York students come over here and they have an exchange program over computers, etc., etc. It's a fantastic program. Only a day after did Stanley sort of reveal to me who Madam was. And I keep on using the word Madam. And so you'll have to Google to understand why. Okay? But I'm not going to tell you why. I think she's standing here today very, very much so in her individual capacity. In fact, I know if it was my wife, and if my wife was introduced as this is Hussein's wife, and my wife on her own is a very talented professional, and I know what happens when we go home that evening. So I'm not going to introduce you in that line. But I found ma'am to be an absolutely sterling person, accessible, although difficult sometimes because I know you've got your own schedule. The resume, the brief resume is in front of you. She now heads, or she's the CEO of the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, which I'm hoping we manage to put our toe in the door to some possibility for cooperation in the future. Because I think we play in the same field, although at a very low level, I think we play in the same field. I won't take up much more time. I'm asking Ma'am Twala, please, to come through and address you.
Good evening, everybody. Hussein said the protocol observed, and I do know that that's only a South African line. It's not used anywhere else. So I'd urge you not to use it. But thank you very much for that warm welcome, and I'm glad that the person that I voted for actually won. Not that I'm glad that you guys didn't win, but yeah. And congratulations to the entrepreneurs. It's a bit difficult for me to speak right now because of the two hats that I have, but given the platform, I'm always tempted to tell people about the social program that I run, which is how I met Hussein, and because, you know, he's such an opportunist. Now he's at my workplace. God knows where else he'll be next time. But I'm with Victoria Shuping, who is a friend of mine and a colleague from the city of Johannesburg. And because I've only learned from the best, when I saw the opportunity for a platform to bring Vicky, who is the regional director for Region B, which is this region from the city of Johannesburg, I thought this would be a good opportunity for her to network and get to know the community better, and perhaps forge some partnerships and working relations that would really take this community even further in interacting with the city and getting a whole lot of things done. And I particularly have a passion for SANSAF, because the one big mistake that we have made as a government in South Africa is to create a society of people who expect handouts and who expect things to be done for them. When I was at university, I worked hard because I wanted to buy my own apartment, buy my own car. Now the story has changed. You must hold your own placard and do it for your RDP. So, you know, the playing fields have changed, and it's a bit of a difficult one to deal with. Thank you. And yeah, the program that that I run is a program that's called the Love Josie Generation. So if you are a person in whatever generation, they call it generational mix. So whether you're young or old, you could play a part in the program. But it's a program that says young people, particularly children ages 9 to 15, can really excel in education. And if you are excelling in education, then if your academic background is solid, then you would have the opportunity to have good life skills. And if you have good life skills, you understand that you don't have to have your parent looking over you to do the right thing all the time. You know to say the right things at the right time and not to bow down to peer pressure. The program has an anti-bullying program there. And the academic excellence is what Hussein spoke about, where we have children learning using computers and Skyping with 5 other countries, but the program runs from Bloomberg's office under the theme Global Partners Junior. So you have 30 young kids, children who are from South Africa, who would be in the program with 30 children from other countries. Now with Wheeler's Farm, we got an affluent school, Glenanda Primary School, which school has a computer lab and everything, and they could take 30 kids to the New York program. But that wasn't good enough for me, and that's where my good friend came in, where I said, if I take 15 kids from Glenanda and get 15 kids from a poor school, then we could transport the kids from Glenanda, from Wheeler's Farm to Glenanda, and they would get the full value of the program. It had never been done with New York, but when we made our application, they agreed. Now, I didn't know what I was going to feed these kids. And that's where Hussein came in, and he said, Pili, I'll feed the kids for you. Don't worry about it. These are the sorts of things we do at Zanzibar. And the first program that they did was an entrepreneurial development program. And they had to write an exam, they had to go and have their wares and whatever it was they were working on to actually be showcased in New York. And now these are kids who'd never been even outside of Wheeler's Farm, let alone outside of Johannesburg, let alone outside of the country. And it was awesome. When we first approached teachers to assist, they said, oh, so volunteer, how much are you going to pay me? So you don't know what the word volunteer means anymore, because society has changed. And our society, that we have changed. So the young kids have really had to work hard in the program. And after life skills, they do a leadership development program. So it's part of that. So every quarter, they have to show us what it is that they have done as a leader in their community. So it could have been that they did a project, and the Wheeler's Farm Kids program now is for them to make sure that they get connectivity in their school. So they have to get themselves into a governing body and have all the processes, whether they need to talk to their school governing body, to Barbara Creasy or whoever they have to talk to. They just have to get their connectivity done by the end of this year. So that is their program. And the ones at Glenanda have to deal with a climate change program. And this shows them what leadership is about, because they have to do this for themselves. And we are hoping to take them on an excursion, which is part of the program, to Parliament and to the union buildings and to a board meeting. And that's why we say everybody can play in this space. So if you have a company and you have a board meeting, we want to give them a board pack, and they must know how to run a proper meeting. And hoping the day we take them to Parliament, they don't have anybody calling them each other chihuahuas and those sorts of things. So, you know, and the leadership program in particular is just for the kids to know that you can say the right things without being obnoxious. You don't have to be rude. We have all seen what happened to our young Julius, that in certain instances he said things that should have been said, but it's the how that got everybody so hot under the collar that you didn't even want to look at him, let alone hear what he said. So that's the leadership development program. And then there's the civic participation, where the kids have to do something in their community, which is again what this community does. And this is why, for me, the connection, you know, you always connect with people who have the same energy with you. And the connection, and he was there when we launched the program. It's just amazing that these kids will come back and say, for my common citizenship program, I helped at a hospice, or I helped somebody who's not good in math, or I've helped, somebody who was carrying stuff and they didn't know what to do. And this is the culture that we're trying to inculcate in the kids. And then there's what the kids call freestyle, where they just do fun things, they go to the zoo. And the last zoo visit that we did with them everything we do is anchored around a good education. So after they'd gone around and they'd seen the elephants and all of that, we then play a game called popcorn. And with popcorn, we ask a question. So what did the guide say about the bear? What did they say about this? And the person that picks up their hand quickest and answers most questions then gets to win a prize. But it's just to get the kids understanding that you don't have to go drinking and jamming and doing all the other things that your peers want to push you to do, because you can't go to a party and dance without being drunk or having taken drugs or those sorts of things. And we really want them to learn this. And which is why the first program that we did with them was on entrepreneurial development. And I will link this with what I do in my day job. In my day job, I work for the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. And we have three big programs that we do. The first one is financial support, and financial support is a loan. So we give you a loan. If you need a micro loan, we'll give you a loan from anything between 10,000 Rand and 250,000 Rand. It doesn't matter that you have an ITC listing or whatever has happened to you in your previous life, for whatever reason it happened. We will give you the loan as long as you show us that you have made arrangements with whoever you owed money to pay them back their money. And if you have our loan, at the back of that, you have a mentorship program, which is what we think we can partner with you on. We do business development support for you. With you is the operative word, with. We show you how to do your business plan, how to be statutorily compliant with your UIF, your HR, your books, tax, and. So that's what you do on the business development. But we run a program with Standard Bank, with APSA, where we get the business people to then be mentored. And it's a good networking platform where here you already are doing your delivery business, and in the network there's probably Postnet that day, there's probably somebody else from DHL, Express, and we are able to then say, what is it that they could give you so that you could ride on their back until such time you are on your feet. So those are some of the benefits that you'd get from the networking platform. We do have cooperatives program, which is very much misunderstood because, again, it's the culture of grants, where people will form this cooperative, they don't know each other from Adam, they want to work together, and there's money. And of course, because they don't understand, they get the 350 grand from DTI, and then you are going around finding business and networking whilst everybody else is tilling the soil. The day you have to pay out, they say, but when you didn't work, you've been gallivanting all over the show, and we are equal here, and people don't understand this. So we've got an incubation cooperative program. And with the cooperatives program, that is the only program where we do not give loans, where we give you non-financial support, we plow in the money, we pay for, so for example, if you needed more motorbikes and you needed whatever equipment that you needed, we would then be able to pay your suppliers for them to then give you the stuff, to save you from yourselves. You know us, most South Africans, when we have the money, the first thing that comes is the X5. And you know most, so before you even pay your debts. So we would then pay your suppliers, we would sign sessions if you've got a big contract like you're doing roads, and when we know it's a government entity, and they say, yes, you've got an order, you're developing 300 kilometers of road, we would give you the loan, and they would pay us before they pay you. And we sign the session with them, or we do a joint account. And then we have a youth development program, which is the program where we think we will be partnering with you on, which is an entrepreneurial skills development program. Because, let's face it, South Africans can't compete at the level that young people who come from other countries compete at technical level. because we all want to do medicine, and then halfway down the line you've got your 20% and you think that you can do medicine, and if you passed matric, you've passed 30% is the pass rate now. So if you can't, I can't even employ you because 70% of that which I want you to do, you don't even know. But you've got matric, you know. So we're beginning to say how best can we package technical skills. When you get out of the program, we already have a business that will be able to absorb you. So in the interim, whilst we have somebody who says, I'd also like to do delivery of pizzas, we would then say, okay, we'll hook you up with Ulma, and we will pay the stipend so that you don't become a burden on him, and you learn the rules of engagement. You learn to pitch on time. You learn to do that which you are expected to do according to the standard that is expected. Because more often than not, here you are, we have young people, they are bricklayers, they decide, no, I'm not going today, Pilisiwe, it's my business, it's mine. So, I'm not going to go there, I'll go tomorrow. Now these are the things that we need at the single point of contact for you to understand that there has to be a lot of resilience out there. You have to respect your customers, and you have to respect yourself for you to make it out there. And that is the reason why predominantly we are not in the business of grants, because we don't want to create that culture of entitlement. But if you're in the incubation program, after an 18-month period, then you get to ask for a loan, and you're able to then do the work, and we continue to mentor you. So this is why for us, it is really important, and I wasn't feeling well. I've been off sick for the whole week, and I wasn't going to miss this for anything, because I really felt this is an opportunity for us to find the right networks, to find the right mentors, to find where SANZAF says this amount of money is not money that we can give. We should be able to say, because we trust you, we've got a relationship with you, we would be able to forward that kind of money. And we know we'll always recover it, because we know there's a success rate with every single one of the entrepreneurs that have been funded by SANZAF. So thank you very much for having me, and thanks for the invite and the relationship.